Good morning on this Sunday as we happily welcome the lengthening daylight hours. I'm Lois Becker, your service presenter for today. Welcome to the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist Church. You're here with us today with Zoom, either on Facebook or YouTube. If you have had any difficulty in connecting with us today, please send the church a note, and we will guide you so that it is easier to reach us. Michael Wheeler sends out email each week with links to our various AEO and Sunday services programs, after sermon discussions, and meditations. The UmQuest, our weekly newsletter, has direct links to our services. Please let us know if you'd like to be more in touch. We have many activities throughout the week and invite you to join us and enjoy stimulating discussions and learning experiences. We are here for you. This is the time to register for the annual gathering of the Unitarians nationally. We will meet via Zoom, and the church will reimburse the $200 cost for the multi-day conference. For more information, please contact the church. Our thanks to Michael Wheeler and Lucy Swainjam for their work in producing these videos each week, both on Facebook and YouTube. Our chalice lighting words today are by Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who had lighted the flame within us. Opening words today are by Lynn Twist. The indigenous people of the Amazon are not caught, as we are, in what Father Thomas Berry calls species isolation, which suggests that we as human beings have isolated ourselves so completely from all other species and from the natural world that we have gone into an almost hypnotic trance. The blessings of working with the indigenous peoples of the Amazon is that they are reaching out to us to help us wake up from the trance. Our speaker today, Donna Smith, retired in 2009 after working as a CPA for many years. She became a Unity Worldwide Ministry spiritual leader with ministerial training focused on pastoral care. She's also a Unity chaplain, a TAYS prayer leader and trainer, a Reiki master and practitioner, a nonviolent communications teacher, a student and a teacher of A Course in Miracles, and student and teacher of The Way of Mastery. She was a minister for Unity of Roseburg from 2009 to 2013. Now she does guest speaking regularly at the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist Church, UUUC, and the Unity of Roseburg, and occasionally at Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Donna offers compassionate service and spiritual counseling at UUUC and is active in our Cares and Concerns ministry. She says, "My heart is most joyful when I can help others find peace and joy in their lives."
Good morning, my UUUC friends. I am excited to share with you today the ancient prophecy of the eagle and the condor. John Perkins, activist and author, says that nearly every culture he knows of prophesies that in the late 1990s, we entered a period of remarkable transition. At monasteries in the Himalayas, ceremonial sites in Indonesia, the indigenous reservations of North America, from the depths of the Amazon to the peaks of the Andes, and into the ancient Mayan cities of Central America, he has heard that ours is a special moment in human history, and that each of us was born at this time because we have a mission to accomplish. He says that when similar prophetic visions occur independently, in many cultures, they should be taken seriously. He says the titles and the words of the prophecies differ slightly. They tell of a new age, the third millennium, the age of Aquarius, the beginning of the fifth sun, or the end of old calendars and the commencement of new ones. Despite the varying terminologies, however, they have a great deal in common, and the prophecy of the condor and the eagle is typical. This prophecy tells that back in the midst of history, human societies divided and took different paths. The condor, representing the heart, intuition, compassion, passion, connection to the earth, and the mystical, are the southern hemisphere. And the eagle, representing the brain, the mind, the intellect, technology, science, industry, the rational, and the material, are the northern hemisphere. Note that the brain in the human body is above or north of the heart. The people of the condor have a mellow, softer energy and would live in harmony with the earth. Their path would be guided by feeling and intuition. When the earth felt pain, they would feel it too. They would seek to live in peace with the planet. The people of the eagle would be conquerors. They would dominate the land and everything upon it. They would be strong, powerful, and intelligent. They would have great talent for destruction. They would use their power to kill, destroy, and enslave everything in their path. But they could not feel the pain of others. The people of the eagle would hurt Mother Earth. They could not feel her suffering. People and animals would be slaughtered, rivers dammed, forests felled, and huge trees brought down. The trees are Mother Earth's lungs, and the people of the eagle would cut them down, choking her. They would fill the air with poisonous gas and blanket the earth in dust, dirt, and death. The people of the eagle would not possess the ability to feel. They could not feel the earth dying. They would not know they were killing her. In the 1490s, the prophecy said, the two paths would converge and the eagle would drive the condor to the verge of extinction. But not quite. Then 500 years later, in the 1990s, a new epic would begin, one in which the condor and the eagle will have the opportunity to reunite and fly together in the same sky, along the same path, if the condor and the eagle accept this opportunity. They will create a most remarkable offspring, unlike any seen before. The Incan prophecy says, when the earth of the north flies with the condor of the south, the spirit of the land will reawaken. The knowledge keepers foretold of a time when people from the four directions of the world would come together. The coming together of these two birds means things will start to happen. This will be a time of peace. The Inca prophecies say that the eagles of the north cannot be free without the condors of the south. We have to come together to be one, to have complete understanding. These native elders and knowledge keepers say we're all native because the word native comes from nature, and we are all parts of Mother Earth and Mother Nature. She is inside of us, and we are inside of her. We depend totally on the earth, the sun, and the water. We depend also on another sun, a sun that is a spiritual body that we are all part of too. And this sun lies in a different dimension. They call it the golden sun, burning with the fire of spiritual light. The inner light of humans emanates from this spiritual source, and we are children of this sun. We must return to the inner spirit, which we have abandoned while looking elsewhere for happiness. When we do this, the elders tell us that we will unite and get our strength back like the many arrows together that will not be broken. The prophecy of the condor and the eagle can be taken at many levels. The standard interpretation is that it foretells the sharing of indigenous knowledge with the technologies of science, the balancing of yin and yang, and the bridging of northern and southern cultures. However, the most powerful is the message it offers about consciousness. It says that we have entered a time when we can benefit from the many diverse ways of seeing ourselves and the world, and that we can use these as a springboard to higher levels of awareness. As human beings, we can truly wake up and evolve into a more conscious species. Western culture since the Middle Ages has been increasingly dominated by intellect at the expense of other dimensions of the human species. This one-sided development of reason created modern science and technology through which Western culture has dominated the planet. Knowledge is very powerful, but it is also very limited. Knowledge without the wisdom to use it is dangerous. Our history is filled with the warriors who conquered, stole, killed, and then were idolized for their accomplishments. And as I mentioned before, in the 1490s, the eagles had almost drove the condors to the verge of extinction, but it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because the condors and the wisdom of the heart could not and cannot be defeated and destroyed. The elders and the knowledge keepers say that everything has a purpose. There is no coincidence. It is the time for uniting hearts and the love of humanity for our sacred Mother Earth and the universe that shines us light every day. It is time for reformation. They say that all of our people have to make a new design for our children and the future generations. They said it is written in the stars, and we have to make this work so that stars can move the spiritual energy. And this will begin a new time when we take the spirit in our own hands, when the eagle and the condor unite. As John Perkins wrote in his book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, interesting title, he said, "Intellect's dominance cannot be overthrown externally. Instead, it bears the seeds of its own waning influence. This is starting to happen at many levels. As intellect solves more of the problems that it is capable of dealing with, it expands the scope and importance of problems that are beyond it. For example, the enormous improvements of productivity that technology has created are beginning to be a problem. Instead of leading to better lives for everyone, they are concentrating wealth into ever fewer hands, while earning a decent living is becoming more difficult for the vast majority. I see this prophecy as foretelling the rise of intuition and the beginning of a reconnection with ancient wisdom that does not fit into a narrow intellectual framework. But this must not and cannot be an abandonment or a renunciation of the achievements of the intellect. It must be a union of the two that creates something different than and beyond what exists today. In the unfolding of the life of Indian nations, every 5 centuries produces transformations of both foundations and forms. With these changes, life does not lose its essence. It becomes covered with a new skin. The old is rejuvenated. It is nourished with pure energy. This energy is transmitted by the great spirits, Alpamana, the Incan goddess of earth and fertility, and Pachamama, the nature of Mother Earth and the universe in general. The story tells that the peoples, oriented by the laws of Alpamana and Pachamama, had to pass through difficult situations, one of which was the splitting of its nations. In the splitting, there had been wounds of injustice, oppression, colonization, greed, and superstition, all of which would injure the human heart. At the same time, there has been no way for this to be expressed. It's been held inside, so the ancestral wound has been carried from generation to generation. After the splitting, the wise men created these prophecies to guide their people. The beginning of the liberation of the people would be symbolized by the union of the tears of the condor of Urin and the eagle of Hanan. The union of these tears would cauterize their wounds and fortify their spirit, body, and thought. The elders said that change would never happen by the masses of humanity waking up tomorrow morning and realizing they need to change. It has to begin by a few individuals, which is a reflection in the prophecy. The prophecy says that after 500 years, a great springtime would emerge with such power and such intensity that all that had been covered in the cold, bitter snow would be revealed and cleansed and purified, and that we would emerge galvanized and reunited as not only a reunion of the eagle and the condor, but a reunion of the entire human family. Now, to me, this ancient prophecy has described exactly what has happened and what is happening now. Somehow, many forgot their hearts and created science and knowledge without the wisdom of the heart to guide it to be in the best interest of humanity as a whole. They say, now is the time for the revealing, the cleansing, and the purifying. Again, that is exactly what is happening right now. It is painful and it is necessary. If we do not do this, the condor and the eagle will not fly together. And I dare say, we may destroy Mother Earth and ourselves as humans. I think it is very interesting, the timing of the fulfilling of the prophecy. Actually, it was before the 1990s that we started focusing more on love, compassion, and the wisdom of the heart. Remember the 1960 love-ins? Make love, not war. Many organizations sprang up to help Mother Earth, to help the downtrodden, and to help our pets and other beings on the planet. Not to say some of these same kinds of organizations were not there before, but they really started coming into the limelight as people became more aware of what was happening and started to listen to the wisdom of their hearts. We began challenging the unhealthy practices of those organizations and other entities. Our present-day spiritual leaders have been focusing on love and compassion, not only for our humanity, but also for the health of our individual body and other species on the planet. We have been asked by many to raise our consciousness so we can preserve Mother Earth and humanity. Marshall Rosenberg wrote and began teaching nonviolent communication in 1960. A Course in Miracles was published in 1976. Consider the works of Louise Hay, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, David Hawkins, Eckhart Tolle, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, and Barbara Marx Hubbard, just to name a few. And one of the most important is the work of the Heart Math Institute and their people who have taught us about the incredible power of the heart and the heart-brain coherence and how to access our deepest wisdom. It was founded in 1991 by Doc Schilder. In fact, to me, the heart map provides the guidance for the coming together of the heart, the condor, and the brain, the eagle, to access that deepest wisdom. And that's why I talk with you so much about it. I think it is so very important. It is our guidance, and it is easy. It is very easy. These are a smidgen of the individuals and organizations that are providing the evolutionary drivers that take us to higher consciousness. And these individuals include you and me and all who are willing to unite the intellect with the heart. We are right now in the middle of making these big changes. Just look at the enormity of what is coming up to be revealed, cleansed, and purified in the present time. We're in the purifying process, and this means consciousness is rising, individual by individual, just as told by the prophecy. The prophecy says, in the dawn of this new era, the eagle and condor learns to fly together across the sky to create a new level of consciousness for humankind. And if humankind learned to tie the strength and power of the eagle to the peace and the compassion of the condor, humankind could live with intention, intelligence, and wisdom, to contemplate their every action and the impacts on 7 generations in the future. We have reached this crossroad, that now is the time to fulfill the prophecy, to awaken our consciousness. The prophecy only speaks of the potential. So it's up to us to activate this potential and ensure that a higher consciousness is allowed to arise. It is our choice, each individual, and our choices will either unite us or destroy us as a humanity. Is it possible for humankind to transform our consciousness? Can we learn to cultivate empathy and widen our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature? I truly believe it is. We are a resilient species. Now, the all that has been covered in the cold, bitter snow is coming out. And we have the awareness, information, knowledge, and heart wisdom to heal it all. While the problems are immense and complex, we have the opportunity to innovate, to reimagine our way of being and our relationship to nature and to each other. I just read about a young woman in Africa who has created a business that collects plastic waste, which would normally go into a landfill, and she transforms the waste into building blocks as pavers, and they are beautiful. She reimagined a new purpose for plastic waste. There's a new organic gardening technique that stacks gardening beds so that they can quadruple and even more the production within a space. And these things are happening now. In fact, it's all here now. We just have to awaken to these possibilities that we have in front of us and use them. That's all we have to do. Perhaps this crisis will force us to look inward, to contemplate what we are, and to help us realize that we are not separate, that we are one with nature, and we are all part of one interconnected ecosystem. We can harness the intelligence of the eagle to invent a new form of communication that connects humankind, like the fungus mycelium that connects the different species in the forest, sending signals that distribute resources to the vulnerable and maintaining a healthy balance. I recommend you see this movie. It's called Fantastic Fungi, because if you do, number one, you're going to fall in love with mushrooms and the importance of them in our health and our society. But it teaches us how we can come together and heal ourselves. We can cultivate the compassion of the condor, to transform our hearts to be able to open to the suffering of Mother Earth, to hear her cries and to act with courage to relieve it. We have the ability to come together to awaken our collective consciousness. The choice is ours, and the time is now. I want to close with a quote by James O'Day. "Now I understand that the universe was calling me to witness the birth of a new humanity. I saw that these healing capacities were coming into the world when we needed them the most. I see now how the underlying weave of this evolving capacity is supported by new science, which affirms that our truest well-being comes from healing relationships, from love, empathy, gratefulness, and forgiveness. I see also how accelerating global connectivity breaks down barriers and confronts the myth of separation and cultural superiority. I understand how any form of domination is doomed to failure, for this is a story about the whole healing the whole. To heal, in fact, means to restore wholeness. We are at the dawn of a whole system shift as we witness this early immune response to the viral challenges of greed and manipulation. This is a shift in which conscious will be reignited in the consciousness awakening across the entire field of humanity, a conscience that no longer needs the wrong to prove the right, and whose luminous inclusiveness affirms that all our wounding can be healed. It is a conscience whose moral compass points to compassionate justice and social order based upon the freedom to create and express the deep bonds of our connection and interdependence." I think he said it all. So as we hold those words in our heart, I ask that you join me in a few moments of meditation. Take a moment to quiet your mind and to relax your body wherever you are. Close your eyes and be conscious of your breath. Bring into mind someone or something that brings you joy, compassion, love, and peace as you think about it. Feel this within your heart as you remember. You have just brought the eagle and the condor together within your heart. As the condor and the eagle soar together within your heart, realize that now is the time to bring this union out into our world. The new beginning has already started. You are a co-creator with the divine, as it is expressed through you. It is the kingdom of light, love, peace, and understanding. And as you express the union of the condor and the eagle to the world, you are doing your part in revealing its reality. Everything begins within the heart of the individual. It begins with me. It begins with you. Look into the eyes and the souls of your brothers and sisters to see their divinity. And as you do, you will recognize that you are looking at yourself. They are your holy self. Open your heart. Let the pure essence of unconditional love pour out. See it as a golden light, radiating from the center of your being. And feel its divine vibration in and through you, above and below you. Send your light into the hearts of all in the world. Envision all of these lights emerging into one global union, one global light, the one global light of love and peace and understanding. And where there was darkness, there is now the light of reality. And see all the kingdoms of the earth respond. And see the planet as alive with this light and love. See all false beliefs and error patterns being dissolved. There is forgiveness. There is harmony. There's cooperation. There is healing. There is a sense of oneness. And there is happiness and joy. And there is the common bond of the condor and the eagle. So let us be in the silence for just a moment as we visualize this union. And as you bring your attention back into the room where you are, I ask that you keep this vision, this intention, and this purpose in your heart. So I am very, very happy to have been with you this morning. I'm so looking forward to being together again. So let's all envision that in our heart also. Envision those hugs. So blessings to you all.
Where my free spirit onward leads, well, there shall be my way. By my own light illumined, I've journeyed night and day. My age of time-worn cloak I wear, as once I wore my youth. I celebrate life's mystery, I celebrate death's truth. My family is not confined to mother, mate, and child, but it includes all creatures, be they tame or be they wild. My family upon this earth includes all living through this life I roam. Eternity is hard to get, and harder still is this. A human life, when truly seen, is briefer than a kiss.
Our closing words today are by Don Oscar Miro Quesada. It is also the time when nature's wake-up call, already sounding loudly, will reverberate through the psyche of humanity as a collective experience, as a shared frequency of resonance. I am convinced that awakening to this knowledge must be the highest priority for humankind as a whole. In the words of the poet John Keats, "Do you not see how necessary a world of pains and troubles is to school an intelligence and make it a soul? A place where the heart must feel and suffer in 1,000 diverse ways." This excerpt is a perturbing reflection, an uncanny mirroring of this pivotal moment in our human evolution. Unless we choose a direction that honors a making of a soul, our world shall continue to intensify in suffering and pain. Our words for extinguishing the chalice are by John W. Brigham. "Go your ways, knowing not the answers to all things, yet seeking always the answer to one more thing than you know."